Okay, so let us move on. Let's look at question number 19. What we have here is we have an equation that is in standard form, and it's been kind of multiplied all the way out, so we get this form like this. And what I want to do is I do have a goal of trying to set it up like this. So what we're going to do is combine something that we did before of completing the square to do this. So in order for me to do that, first step is to get this quantity all by itself. So I'm going to move the 241 onto the other side. So I have x squared, and I'm going to rewrite it so that the x's are next to each other. So I have plus 10x plus y squared minus 30y equals negative 241. So my first step is to complete the square for the x's. So if you guys remember, to complete the square, what I'm doing is I'm taking the middle term, or my 10, and dividing it by 2 and squaring it. So I have x squared plus 10x plus 10 divided by 2 is 5 squared, which is 25. Okay? I still have the y squared minus 30y equals negative 241. But if you guys remember, we want to add that value, that 25, to both sides. Okay? So, right now on this side, I have it to be negative 216. Okay? But what I want to do is factor out that side. If you guys remember, we're going to make a box. It's one of the ways that we did this. And I'm looking at, I have x squared and I have a 25. And when I add those two together, I'm trying to get 10. So if I add x, well, what gets me 25 is like 5 and 5, and 25 and 1. But if I add 5 and 5 together, that gets me my 10x. So I get plus 5, x plus 5. So right now, I have my factored outside to be x plus 5 squared plus y squared minus 30y equals negative 216. So what I'm going to do is repeat that same thing with my y's. So I'm going to take y squared minus 30y, and then I'm going to take my middle term, which is negative 30, over 2 squared. So that's y squared minus 30y plus negative 30 over 2 is negative 15. Squared gets me positive 225. And I'm going to add that to the other side too. But remember, I still have this x plus 5 squared here too. So I have x plus 5 squared plus y squared minus 30y plus 225 equals 9. And then what we're going to do is factor out this side right here. So we can use a box to do this. So I have y squared and positive 225. What gets me 225 but a sum of 30? Well, I know 225 breaks down to be 15 and 15 because they're both perfect squares. So I can say minus 15y minus 15y. So I have a y that goes into both of those, negative 15 that goes into both of those, negative 15. So it looks like I have y minus 15 squared plus x plus 5 squared equals 9. So my center is going to be negative 5, 15, and my radius is going to be 3, because r squared equals 9, so r equals 3. Let's try one more. Same idea. Bring this over to that side. So I have x squared minus 22x plus y squared plus 20y equals negative 205. We're going to work on this side right here and complete the square. X squared minus 22x plus negative 22 over 2 squared. So that gets me x squared minus 22x plus 121. We'll factor this out. So I have x squared plus 121. So what gets me 121 in the sum of 22? I think it's 11, right? Negative 11x. So I have an x and negative 11. Negative 11. So it looks like I have x minus 11 squared plus y squared plus 20y equals negative 205. I need to make sure I add the 121 to this side. So that gives me this. Got to do something with the y's. So I have y squared plus 20y plus 20 over 2 squared, which is 100. So I have y squared plus 20y plus 100 equals negative 84 plus 100. And then I have x minus 11 squared. So I have equals 16 on that side. If I factor out the right, do y squared. I have y squared plus 100. So what gets me 100 but a sum of 20 is 10. So y, 10. 10, yeah, it works out. So I have y plus 10 squared. And then I have x minus 11 squared. So my radius, my center, becomes 11, negative 10, and then my radius is 4. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is to finish the next 4 on this 21, 22, 23, 24, and then I'm going to ask you guys to work on lesson 1 homework. That is due tomorrow. And then I'm going to ask you guys to start working on weekly review number 3. That's due on Friday. Thanks.